This one definitely not. Anyway, don't worry first. Look at this first. I'll wait for Cheryl to come back and I'll start.
Okay.
Or you want to do the revision first?
This is the revision. Okay, you may want to note down, it's a 2-hour paper. I think all the exams are fast. And the paper will have 9 questions over 2 sections, section A and B. There is no MCQ, but there will be the short answer as well as the long answer. So the marks of the question will be given. So check the marks so that you know how much to write. Writing more will not get you more marks. You okay with this? So let me just move on. For the first topic, topic A, this is just the objectives which you have in your slides already. So this is just to note that we are talking about topic A. So in topic A, we emphasize to you that carbohydrate is important. Okay, the question is, why is it important? And what if an athlete decides that they want to reduce that carbo, or maybe he finds that he doesn't like the taste of carbo so much. So if he does that, and being an athlete, what's going to happen to him? Okay. And what else happens when you limit your carbo? How are you going to make up the shortfall? So if you remember your notes, wait, don't take a picture first. Hang on. If you remember your notes, you will remember that we mentioned that main function of carbo is to provide energy, and you get this in the form of glycogen as a storage system. And this is mainly for the muscle and liver. But the one for the working muscle is the one in the, is the one that's stored in there. That is your source of energy. And what is the purpose of this glycogen? It's, especially in the liver, it's basically to give you a constant supply of glucose, blood glucose, right? We need all that. And your constant supply should at least meet this minimum requirement. If it drops, the liver will release more. But if you do not have enough, where else can you get it from? You could get it from fat. Wait, don't take any picture yet. Hang on. You can get it from fat, okay, through lipolysis, or you can maybe get it from protein if you are at rest. But being an athlete, you are not at rest. So chances are you actually need your carbohydrate, or maybe your fat will be burned before you reach your protein. If you want to take a picture, take it now. So when you answer any questions, make sure you think about it in a very systematic order, then you won't forget to mention points. Because if you look at our notes, just on carbohydrate alone, how many slides are there? If you are going to talk randomly, you can write like pages and pages and write a book as well, right? Are you okay with this? In the first topic, we also talk about recovery meals. Okay, and most of the time for athletes, I think we're usually around moderate to high range light is not really much because they'll be exercising so much. So remember, when we talk about this, we're talking about athletes, not normal population. So what do they need to eat to meet this? If you want to take this, you can take this. Otherwise, I'll move on.
Oh.
Oops.
So far.
I was looking for your. Okay, can I move on? So if you remember, we talked about carbohydrate foods. They can be rich in either moderate to high GI. And these are your ready source of carbohydrate, high and moderate. Low ones are obviously not. And this actually helps you to maximize your recovery time. Normally we need to eat it as soon as possible. If you cannot eat it immediately, at least less than 8 hours after your exercise. So that's the when. And what should we eat? Anything that will give you around this amount of protein, but your carbohydrate must be the most available. Okay, so you should have small amounts of protein-rich foods. So your recovery meal must always have some protein as well. Okay, but you cannot just go and eat a steak and consider you're done. You need your carbo to replenish. So if you're asked to give examples of food, please make sure you read your scenarios given to see what kind of athlete is it. Is it just a normal athlete? If we don't say, then anything goes. But if we tell you it's an Indian boy or an Indian male, 20 years old, then you give accordingly. That's what I mentioned here, culture. Okay, so the examples give it a bit more related to the case so that I know you read the case. If you just give me the normal ice smoothie or something like that, that means you probably didn't read. You already have a standard answer to plug in any system, but you read the scenario. Okay, so if it's a 18-year-old Chinese girl, probably you just say ice Milo. But if it's like a Malay boy, maybe or an Indian boy, maybe bandung, something like that. You know, something a bit more related. Okay? Yeah lah, I know lah, but just make it sound like you read and stuff. Anyway, location. Look at the story even. The scenario, if the scenario says that they are at the training place near a shopping center, chances are maybe they can find the shops that sell smoothies. But if it is, of course, in a hawker center, maybe you get bandung. But if it is near certain like coffee shops, then yeah, sorry, milk. You can get the others. Or near McDonald's, you will get the ice Milo. Okay, so all these will clue me in that you have read the case study. Also, what was the suggestion asked for? Is it for a snack or for a full meal? So snack, please give an example of a snack like your chap fan comprising whatever dishes. If you're going to say that, or you name some dish that you know got certain composition of food. If not, snack can be like your ham sandwich, sardine sandwich. Why sardine curry puff a ham sandwich for this particular scenario? Why is ham sandwich and sardine curry puff mentioned here in this scenario?
Protein.
You have protein and carbohydrate. So this is to show me that you have these two, because if you check, you must eat a food that is full, that has carbo and protein. I still don't know if you can translate it into application. The application is to name it a food. Okay? If you need to snap this, go ahead. To those who just came in, I was telling the class earlier on that if you look at the notes, we have pages and pages and pages of notes. So I would actually emphasize to you what is important in your learning with the boxes, and of course some examples were applicable. Okay? Okay, can I move on? So what if an athlete has gastrointestinal discomfort, especially before a race? Okay, so definitely fat in large quantities is a no-no. It's going to cause gastrointestinal problems, and this will impact on the performance. Okay, negative impact. So please highlight that to me. Don't just say, oh, it will impact. I don't know, it's positive or negative. So you can say it's detrimental, or you can say a negative impact. Okay. So you do not recommend to such athletes any food with high fat. So obviously, just now the curry puff, no go already.
If you go back to your example just now, the curry puff. Just now you mentioned that curry puff is high in fat, right?
No, I said it has carbo and it has protein.
Before you said curry puff is high in fat.
In this case, yes.
So if you want the curry puff for recovery, going to the fat over the GI
Now, this is post exercise for recovery meals. So recovery meals, you actually want the carbo to be more easily available. You don't want it to be low GI. You want it to be released ASAP to replenish your muscles.
Isn't that why curry puff is not suitable because the fat will slow down the release of carb?
Yeah, it's not so suitable. Correct.
It's just general condition. Okay, thanks.
Okay. So, do highlight if the person is susceptible to this, what will cause them to have problem. Normally, high fiber foods, because this will cause it to be difficult to digest, which may be the problem that he has. That's why he has this abdominal discomfort, which is your gastrointestinal problem. Okay, so what you want to give him is instead an energy-dense, low-bulk foods. This will help to minimize. Give me some examples. You can say bread, toast with jam, or if you think toast with jam is too difficult for him, then bread with jam is fine. Okay. Probably bread with peanut butter may not be as good because that's a lot of fat, so it's a little harder to digest. Milk, soya milk, any koi, peanut. Well, peanut is a bit more protein, so may not be as good. So depending on the scenario. But some dried fruits, honey. Okay. You want to see a picture of this first? Okay. Okay. Some other examples can be, for example, it can be your anything in this quadrant. That means you see mostly the carbo stuff, bread, buns, and all that. That will be helpful. Of course, it could be just bee-hoon and all that. Yeah. Skim milk drinks or low-fat milk drinks will be okay. Anyway, milk is mostly liquid actually. Normal, yeah, not normal full cream milk. Because if it's, for example, a fruit flavored one, they would probably have a bit of sugar to complement with the fruit taste. So that would give you a bit more carbo in there. Huh? Can be your koi, but again, if you choose koi, please make sure you choose those kois that are not so oily. This is a bit oily, okay?
How do you tell the difference?
How do you tell? Those with a lot of coconut milk. Like this side is quite easy. A lot of carbo. This is tapioca. I mean, you can name them if you can remember. If not, you can name your bread instead. Alright? It doesn't mean you have to. I'm just giving examples. You can say like the peanut cake or something, you know, the banchan gui or all this, you can give all these example. Anything that's localized if you ask for a Singaporean context, which most of our case studies should be localized.
Yeah, but Singaporean got low SES, high SES as well.
Oh, it's low SES and high SES. Okay. We also learned about water in topic A, and it's very important. So we must know why athletes must stay hydrated, and how do you check that you are hydrated? We have simple steps, and how do you stay hydrated? Okay with this slide? Can I move on? Okay. So, sorry. Why do you need to stay hydrated? So obviously, we have already learned that athletes must actually ensure that, well, the main thing is your body doesn't adapt to hydration. We said that already. So if you start off hydrated, you have a higher chance to stay hydrated. But of course, during the exercise, you still have to continue to drink or sip. And you have to make sure that your body mass does not lose more than 2% of your mass itself to ensure that you know you're hydrated. How well hydrated are you? How do you check? Okay, you check by firstly ensuring that you drink regularly. If you drink regularly, you're sure to be hydrated, maybe even overhydrated. Okay, but you can also check your urine color. It should be pale in color. Okay, but the caveat to this is if you take B vitamins or any food that contains riboflavin, your urine will color yellow, so you can't tell. So another more accurate way would be to use your specific gravity refractometer to measure your osmolality in the urine. Okay, so this is the most accurate. You did this for your practical as well. Okay. And how do you stay hydrated? This is quite normal condition. If you're less than 30 minutes, exercise is considered as not much exercise or almost sedentary. So for people who are exercising, you actually stay hydrated by making sure you drink before, you drink during, at a rate that's comfortable and practical. We already said that. Okay, and to replace your fluid loss, which you should be able to feel it, or sometimes you'll feel a bit thirsty. And of course, if you use the correct beverage, you will be highly likely to be hydrated. Okay, because it tastes better anyway. This of course, this particular guidelines is for during and post exercise. So after you have completed your exercise, you'll find that you have a tendency to look for drinks that is cool and maybe a slightly sweet or sweet. That's why they always give 100 plus at the end of the race when you finish. But before your exercise, you also, like I said, start with a well-hydrated condition and replace your fluid loss between sessions. It could be water, it could be, of course, isotonic drinks. You're okay with this slide? Okay. Topic B. Topic B, you learn all this. This is just the objectives. So what did we cover? We talked about carbo loading. Okay, so make sure you know what is carbo loading and under what circumstance do you not do carbo loading. It does not mean that carbo loading is for everybody. Okay, you may think that all athletes can carbo load. No, there are some of them who have problems. Okay, so carbo loading has been defined. I think it's in this slide in your notes. However, when can you not carbo load? You must remember that if you cannot tolerate high fiber content in the diet, you have to be careful about your carbo loading. Especially if you consume food that tends to have a bit more fiber, you have problems. Okay, because most of the time, if you look at our notes, it says that consume carbohydrates that is unprocessed grains, fruits and vegetables, fiber rich, because we're trying to make sure that when you eat a lot, you don't become fat from it, because that's not the purpose of being an athlete. However, all these can cause bloating or any intestinal discomfort. So this is one circumstance. Athletes who cannot tolerate such level of fiber and tends to suffer from bloating, they should not carbo load, or at least they should not carbo load so much, or they have to choose the food wisely. Are you done with this slide? Other circumstances include when you have medical problems like diabetes or any other endocrine disorders. Okay. Of course, what we're referring to is carbo loading on your own. For these athletes, they can carbo load if they are elite athletes with their physician and sports dietitian working together closely with them. Okay. But we're talking about normal athletes, so they can't just simply go carbo loading. If the athlete is overweight, they also have to be careful because you think, oh, I'm an athlete, I carbo load, then you find that how come this fellow athlete but growing bigger one? Okay, because we know that carbo loading tends to cause you a weight gain of up to 2 kg, especially the period leading up to it. Okay, so that's not recommended, especially for athletes that have to watch their weight because of weight categories. So previous slide shows you the general recommendation, which is people cannot tolerate high fiber carbo, and then specifically 2 conditions, medical one or people who have to watch their weight. Okay? Oh, sorry. Okay. Please make sure that you highlight that this additional 2 kg weight can affect the performance, especially in your weight category athletes. Anyway, even if you're a runner and there's no category, you don't want to carry extra 2 kg running around, right? We talked about GI in this topic and what kind of foods low GI, high GI and all that stuff. And in this slide, this is modified, which I did not actually revisit with you all, but I think I was asked, high GI, how come brown rice is here? Brown rice should actually belong to this category, right? And then how come orange is here? Orange should belong to this category because although it may taste sour to you, but it actually has sugars that are easily released to your bloodstream. Okay with that?
Can I explain that again?
No, because in the slides original, all these are listed here, and brown rice is classified as high GI. Actually, it's white rice rather than brown rice. So brown rice should actually belong here because brown rice is a little bit harder to digest, right? And then orange was put under medium GI. Well, unless you're eating the skin as well, which most of us don't. So actually, it should just belong here. Normally, we just peel and then eat the insides, and then the outside we throw away, right? Yeah. So it's wrongly categorized. These are some examples of low GI food you would want to know. Okay, so you can have a snapshot of this. Make sure you know examples that you can give me. For example, high GI food, the white bread. Surprise, surprise. Wholemeal bread is still considered as high GI if you look at the GI. If you want medium GI, then it's specialty grain. But I can tell you, make sure if you give me any answers of examples, it should be clear cut. So I would suggest you avoid the word bread if you're talking about medium or low GI. If you want to put bread there, then it can be a little confusing. Especially if you forgot what are the words in front of the bread that you're going to write and you don't write anything. Okay? Just like just on the oranges and the brown rice, right? It can get confusing. So be very clear. Okay? See, they have so many breads, but 1, 2, 3 of them are actually high GI. This one is medium. This one is still high actually. So it's rather confusing. If you want to give me a medium GI food, you can say chapati. This is 52. This is quite clear cut based on the numbers given here. Okay, or tortilla. This is not chips. This is the flat bread tortilla. Chips will have a lot of fat, so not so healthy. Remember, bottom line, we always talk about healthier ones, okay, healthier choices. So you can talk about white rice as well. Okay. So let me just go on to the next one. This one is just to show you that I moved the thing in the slides. Oh, sorry. Did you want to take a picture of this? You can give orange juice, jam. Jam is quite low. Even canned peaches, not just fresh fruits. But any fresh fruit you will get a, okay, not any. No, watermelon is actually quite high GI.
Can I ask, why is jam good? Isn't it high sugar?
Jam. Oh yes. Okay, I think this jam some of those jams that's made overseas, they actually have the fruit bits inside there, quite a bit of the fruit bits, which adds fiber to it. Whereas the jam that we do locally, they tend to maximize profit by giving you barely any fruits. Maybe just one little piece to see and that's it. Or some of the seeds from the strawberry. Okay, so that's the difference. So to be safe, avoid these are examples. Can? So the definition for GI is given here. Again, you can look at the examples. Okay. If you want more examples, you can scan this. You can go to that Harvard Medical School website and look for the different foods. Although you have been given a few examples already, so that should be quite enough to help you. Okay. Done? Okay. Okay, topic C. Topic C, this topic you actually need to know how to define ergogenic aids and of course what are the different types. And we have actually covered this in the little quiz. Okay, what's an ergogenic aid? Which I've highlighted that it can be any method or substance. Please don't use simple words like anything, because anything is for lay people, but you are as sports scientists to be a bit more professional. Okay, so it can be a method, it can be a substance or item. Okay, that is to enhance athletic performance, which covers a lot of things, obviously. Okay, so what are the lots of things? This just to remind you that you can actually look at this. I showed you during the lesson. You actually did this as an assignment, so there's no lecture notes. But if you want to read anything, you can read this book, right?
Can we study the slides that we presented?
Sorry?
You said enough. Can we study the slides that we presented?
Should be enough.
Okay.
Okay, so I've given you the definition for ergogenic aids. So the examples I have done with you in the tutorials, but these are some additional examples which you can consider if you don't like the ones that I've given, or if it doesn't meet with scenarios given to you, then choose the appropriate one. So like physiological, it can be blood doping, which we all know, warming up, cooling down. These are what I call the normal stuff that even lay people do. But for example, if a swimmer, they may shave their hair so that they actually have less resistance. Okay, or they may use saline infusion. If you want to know more, I'll click on this. But otherwise, there's no need for you to know that more. It's just that these are some of the things that people use. Biomechanical can be all of this, depending on the sport. Spike shoes, if you're doing football or running. Bicycles, if you're cyclist. So again, make sure that it is relevant to the scenarios given to you. Artificial turf is for what? Football. Oh. Then this one, nasal breathing tubes. This is actually the clips for the swimmers, those synchronized swimmers. Alright. Then visualization and hypnosis is the same, so your choice, depending on how long you want to write, or imagery. Okay, same as visualization as well. Relaxation techniques can include meditation. And then please don't say visit the sports psychologist. I know the example is given, but it's like you can visit them for coffee. Okay, so please get specific psychotherapy if that's what you're using, or if you're using hypnosis, that's what you likely visit them for. So I extended the examples because besides growth hormone and caffeine can be steroids, which we all know is not good for the body. Certain type of drugs, actually the caffeine is in the form of tablets, so it's like a inverted commas drugs. Okay. Erythropoietin, which is actually used something like blood doping. It's just increase your red blood counts. These are drugs, literally, and vitamins. For nutrition, your carbo loading is also considered as ergogenic aid. Because if you don't, obviously you will not perform as well as if you actually carbo load appropriately, not overload the carbo load. Or taking your whey protein, BCCA, caffeine. But this caffeine, when you put under here, please be clear. Don't put caffeine and expect to get marks, because then I don't know if you're confused. So please indicate that in your coffee or in your gel or in your candy. So you can say caffeinated gels or something like that. That's fine. Okay. Now we're to topic D. This one no need to take. You just know that it's topic D we're covering, that's all. This is actually the objectives. Okay, and topic E. Eh? Okay, topic D and topic E, we cover all this. No need to take. Okay, tutorial 13 has been given out. Check it out and have a look at the questions. Have you taken this? Okay, can I ask you to just read over the questions first and see if you have any questions for me? I will go over with you the tutorial, but look at it and see if you have questions for me.